challenge of this preparation, basically, when you have basically a long gap in between, and also you're not yet sure who you're going.
Yeah, we've got it scheduled. We're mixing rest and work, and so we're going live today and tomorrow. We'll take Sunday off and practice Monday and Tuesday and travel.
What have you learned about finding balance in those situations, about how to just make the most of the time?
Yeah, you gotta see where things are kind of at with your team. Being done Tuesday night, we knew there would be a little bit of a time, so it made sense for Wednesday and Thursday to be. Wednesday was off. Thursday was a what we call a pro day, which is you got to come in and get treatment, lift, and get some shots. But I talked to the staff about it. I take the temperature of the players, and this seems to be what's best for us.
Rick, how do you keep a bit of an edge with these guys when you've got this many days between Game 5 and Game 6?
With practice and with doing things still live and with some edge, and practice this time of year is super important because you've got to get the right balance between live activity and trying to avoid an unnecessary injury. To be honest, and so we're working on the formula as best we can.
Obviously played each of these teams in the playoffs last year, and obviously don't know who's going to be yet. But what impresses you about each of them? How do you feel like the challenge with each team has changed over the course of the year?
They're both great teams. They both have tremendous star power. They're both very deep. They both present problems with rebounding, which is an ongoing challenge in every series we've been in. And so, the game tonight will be very interesting to watch. Obviously, super competitive situation, and very, very interested to see it.
Rick, when teams are building after a lottery pick like you had with Matherin a couple years ago, and this isn't about Matherin, but when teams are building, the question is, are you on schedule, ahead of schedule, behind schedule? 2 straight Eastern Conference Finals. Where are you in terms of the schedule?
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. There's no point, really. I mean, right now, we have to concentrate on each individual day. Our focus has got to be solely on the next game. And that's it. I mean, I understand the question. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but it's just that kind of stuff is not in my wheelhouse right now.
I don't know if it's rat poison like Saban would call it, but my question is kind of, you guys seem to be ahead of schedule. I mean, 2 straight conference finals is not what people thought on paper was going to happen 2 years ago.
Yeah, listen, I came here, and I remember you wrote a story joking about me talking about, getting to the conference finals and the championship. And, you got to have big dreams, and you don't know how often you're going to be in this position. And so a lot of talk about, where you're at and the timeline and all that kind of stuff. Not healthy right now. Right now it's Friday, and we're playing next Wednesday. We got to practice tomorrow. We're off Sunday. We'll find out who we play. Whoever it's going to be is going to be extremely difficult. But that's where we're at.
I hate to make you look back again. I feel bad about that. However,
Well, you can ask.
I'll try. The game in Minnesota. There were a lot of moments during the season, and I was wondering if that victory in Minnesota was a moment in which you could have visioned this. Plain and
Look, I have a strong belief in our entire roster, and that particular game we had some guys dinged up. We had some things going on, and what made sense was what we did. And we decided that we were going all in with the guys that were available. There were depth guys that were going to get an opportunity, our guys jumped on it, and it was an important moment in the season. But I don't like looking backward very much. You know, we are where we are. A lot of things happened to get us to this point. Talking about those things, and I don't know, spending a lot of time on them isn't very constructive, really. You know, I respect your question.
Both game fives, you guys just seem to have kind of a killer mentality to close the series out. How has that evolved with this group? Kind of just take advantage of those situations when they come.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you want to win every game that you can, and you want to. If you have an elimination game in your favor, you want to win it. So, you know, yes, I agree with you.
I got one more. This kind of looks back, but it's more philosophical. When we talk about this, we talk about what led you to give your players more freedom. What made you more of a believer in randomizing the win, in the idea of not having sets and believing in flow and what that could do for an offense? How do you kind of
Playing for the Boston Celtics in the '80s. That was the big thing for me. It was a simple system. There were great players there, you know. But you know, and as I've gone through the years as a player and as a coach, you know, anytime you take a job as a head coach, you know, regardless of the situation, you don't often get a great job. You know, I mean, my first job in Detroit was a 32-win team. But we talked about playing a playoff style, and part of a playoff style is you've got to be able to play a random, unpredictable game, or a flow game, as a lot of people have called it over the years. Because running plays in that kind of situation with so much scouting and everything else, so much pressure and intensity and time between games, it just doesn't work. So you got to develop that style. You got to acquire players that you know can do that can handle the trust involved with that responsibility and privilege, really. And look, it helps to have great point guards. You know, we've got three of them. We got Ty and Drew and TJ, and you know, Pascal's really a fourth point guard. You know, as a guy that can handle and make plays. So, you know, that's a long answer, I guess.
I feel like experience of thinking this much better.
I mean, I think just you always learn from experience. I think like that's everything. That's not even just basketball, it's life. So when you go through life and there's things that you experienced before, automatically in your brain, you know, it just gives you not only comfort, but it can help you know how to deal with it, you know. So I think it's just the fact that we've been in this situation, we've been in hostile games, we've been on the road, you know, had to find a way to win. You know, we've been down, like we've been up, like we've seen it at the highest level. So I mean, it doesn't matter, you still have to go through it. It doesn't mean that we're immune to whatever's going to happen, but I think we have a better experience because we know we've seen it before.
Would you say it's confidence? You feel more confident in all those situations?
I don't know. I wouldn't say confidence. I mean, it is confidence, but it's all the things. Just the fact that you've seen it. It doesn't even have to be confidence. It's just that, you know, if you've seen something before in your life, when it happens again, you know, you have a different understanding of it. Maybe you approach it differently. Maybe, you know, it just depends.
Pascal, why are you guys so much better this year than you were facing the same group of teams, Knicks or Celtics? You're better. Why? What's happened?
You think we're better?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that's good. But I think for us, we just continue to get better as a team. We continue to improve on every facet of our game. And the experience is helping us. I think we just got to, you know, stay grounded, continue to work hard, be who we are, and that's the mentality.
I was listening to a podcast last night. They kept calling you the Indiana passers because of the passing skills that this team has. How unique is that, the unselfishness and the number of passes you have in possession?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we preach, right? Like, it's, you know, from the first day I got here, that's, you know, it's always been about that, moving the ball, and playing team basketball.
Pascal, if you're being honest, was there any point last year when you got to the point that you were like, or this team as a whole was like, we're happy to be here, as opposed to now, you guys
mean, I don't know. I mean, I think for me, I've always had the mindset of like, we obviously it's goals that you want to continue to knock off, and that was one goal. But I always thought that we were talented enough to continue to improve and win. So that's the mindset that we have, and it's hard to continue to just look back, right? Like we have to look ahead and the things that are in front of us, and we gotta be ready for the challenge that's coming, and that's what we're preparing for.
How much more of an edge is your ability to wear teams down? I mean, even last year, obviously, you pressed a lot, and that was a big strength for you going into these playoffs. But how much more do you feel like you can rely on that now? How much are you seeing a difference for how you can exhaust teams based on the way you guys play?
I don't know, to be honest. I think we just got to do us, continue to play our game, and there's a lot of work going through it, training camp and everything, So we just got to continue to be us, man. Like I don't want to get into all the, like it is what it is. Like we are the Pacers, we play our brand of basketball, and we got to focus on that.
What's important for you guys to do in these couple of days and in these 4 or 5 days before you play again?
Yeah, no, it's a good time to get back out there. Some of the core things that we do as a team, continue to amplify it, work hard, and it's a good time to recharge. Obviously, you sleep on your bed. You get to just get that juice going again, and we have hard practices, and it's by no means like rest time. At the end of the day, like it's work time and getting better and improving and getting ready for what's coming.
Did you practice tonight?
Huh?
Did you practice tonight?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because I don't look like I practice?
Well, you changed quickly.
Nah, man. I get my workout in before, so I can, after practice, I can shower and be ready to go home. So. Oh, there you go. I don't know, man. All right, my bad. Next time I'll come in practice gear, so maybe that'll get you the idea that I practiced today,
All good?
What, real quick, what impressed you about Boston and New York each? Obviously, how do you see them as different than they were?
Great teams. Obviously, New York added Anthony Towns. Like they play great basketball. Boston as well. Obviously, sad for Jason Tatum. Sending my prayers for him, and it's crazy what happened to him. Just how talented he is as a player, and it's a brotherhood. So sending my prayers for him. But Boston they have the talent. They have the talent level. They have the guys to do it. They play fast. They shoot threes. Like obviously we lost to them last year. So two amazing teams going at it, and again, wherever we play, it's going to be a battle.
So you don't even know who your opponent is at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're more worried about what we have going on internally, take care of where we can improve and get better. Obviously, between Boston and New York, they share many similarities and many differences. So just harping on the main things of that, and it's more. I think today is more about worrying about us, where we can improve and how we can be better throughout this run.
Does it talk about that experience that made you better from last year this time? What does that feel like to you? What specific things do you like? I'm more equipped for this playoff thing because I did this last year.
I think just moving on to the next play. I think throughout the course of the playoffs, there's missed calls, there's calls that you don't agree with, there's crazy things that go on through the course of the game. There's guys who are making shots that you aren't accustomed to. There's many things that can happen in a playoff game, but I think as time goes on and more experience I get there in the playoffs, I think the more I'm equipped to just move on to the next play, just be ready to take whatever comes with the game. There's so many different things that can happen through the course of a basketball game, and especially in the playoffs. So just ready for whatever.
You just talked about having to work on yourself, and after 2 series when you win by 5, what were the things that you did focus on? You said, okay, that still wasn't as good as it needs to be.
Yeah, we obviously got to do a much better job rebounding the ball. Cleveland dominated us on the glass for 3 games, really, and we don't know who it's going to be between New York and Boston, but we know both those teams rebound at a high level. So that's the biggest thing, is how can we match that physicality and rebounding the ball, and then offensively just being who we are. But defensively, this series is whoever we play is going to come down to who can get enough stops, and that's where we've taken a big jump from last year, but that's where these games and these series will be won.
Obviously, you played both of them last year. How do you see the difference between each of them in terms of how they've evolved? Of course, obviously, one thing Boston does not have Tatum right now, but how do you see each of those teams as being different than they were a year ago?
Yeah, they both present different challenges, different in their own ways. I think Boston without Jason is obviously a different team, a team that, Jason's just been such a staple, and it feels like he never misses games. So they're a different team, and so you got to be prepared for whatever that will present. Obviously, they've started a different lineup. Cornette played a lot last game. They could run a lot of different lineups. So we got to be prepared for whatever that is. If it's New York, obviously they've added McHale from last season. Mitchell Robinson's healthy. He wasn't healthy last year. Cat's obviously a huge addition. So we got to be prepared for whatever it is. And we played both these teams 3 times during this season. So we got good film on playing against both these teams. So you can watch as much as you can right now to be prepared for whoever that is. But like I said, I think more of the preparation right now is about how can we improve internally, keep the edge that we have moving forward, and just be prepared for whoever it is.
Tyrese, as Dustin said, you played them both last year, and he asked how they've evolved. How have you guys evolved? You're clearly better. How have you guys evolved?
I just think we've improved in many different ways. I think we've taken a really big jump on the defensive side of the ball. That's really, I think, jump-started what we've been able to do this year is just the jump we take on that side of the ball. Offensively, we are who we are. We're always going to play with a high pace. We got so many guys that can, have big games, make shots, whatever the case may be. But I think what we're doing defensively is where we've taken our biggest jump. So just got to continue to do that.
And going back to last year just a little bit, media day this year, Chad Buchanan was talking to us and said, these guys, y'all, feel slighted. He said they know that outside people think that your Eastern Conference Finals run was injury-related and all that. And he said, these guys are hungry. I'm guessing you're not full yet, but were you slighted, and how good does this feel to do it again?
Yeah, I think everybody felt that way a little bit. That's just the commentary around the run was based on that. And, I think that we've said many times you can't control who's in front of you. You just got to be ready to go, whatever the case may be. And we'll never apologize for who we play. It is what it is. But, yeah, we definitely felt that way coming into the year. Wanted to, prove people wrong and the doubters wrong, but I think we also want to prove ourselves right, that we, that last year wasn't a fluke. And obviously it's been an up and down year. We started the year pretty rough, but we've been able to, really change things around, and here we are today. So we're not done. We still got a lot of basketball left in us, but definitely excited what we're doing, and just part of, building what we want to build here.
Tyrese, you read a lot. You're on social media. Are you getting a sense now that Indiana has respect?
Sure. I think to a level, I think that as basketball players, I don't think as NBA guys, I don't think anybody ever feels like you get the respect that you're due necessarily. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is that our peers who we're playing against know, it's going to be a challenge. I think the biggest, obviously you guys heard Coach Mazzulla this year say, hey, Indy was our toughest opponent, and that kind of became like a meme, like a participation award to a sense. But I think that's the most respect you could get is from, who you're ultimately competing against. And they know that they have to prepare to play against us the right way, and that we pose a threat. So, I think we're getting that from our peers, which I think matters the most. But I do think at the end of the day, respect and notoriety and all those things, next year, what days do we get to play in the marquee matchups and the big days and the big games? All that comes from winning. So the more that we win, we'll get more respect from the league, the public, whatever the case may be. But we just got to control what we can, and it all comes with winning. So if you win, all the individual accolades, respect, all that stuff come with winning. So we just got to take care of that.
The silly follow does that feel good, because you can always have the chip on your shoulder when you're the underdog, and everybody's against us, and that's a good rallying cry. But when you're known and you're respected, is it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think so. I think everybody you can feel good when people are talking positive about you, which there's a lot of that going on around this group right now. There's a lot of public and media people talking very highly of us. But I think the trick is you don't want to rest on that for the next week and then play whoever we play and get your teeth kicked in, So I think the biggest thing is you can see it, right? And you can feel good about it, or feel however you want to feel about it. But at the end of the day, we're not done. We know we all have a bigger goal at mind. Our goal wasn't just to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and be done. Our goal is to win a championship. So that's what matters the most to us. And yeah, it feels good that like anybody else, if anybody was talking positive about anybody here, you feel good about it. But we know there's a lot more that we want to accomplish. So we don't want to rest on that. We know we got a lot more to chase, and we're going to continue to do that.
Last topic, you've talked a lot about the organized chaos that makes the offense work. How do you make that work as a team? Like year over year, practice over practice, like how does that come together to create a team that's good at that?
Yeah, I think trial and error. I think, working on that through, working on that through practice, working on that through games, just many different opportunities to do it. We all watch a lot of film, talk a lot about what we're seeing in today's league and things that we can implement to what we do offensively. We have great basketball minds on our staff that continue to add new things. We have a running joke that Coach Carlisle has to add a new play every day. But I feel like every day we're adding something new or working on something different, and we just put a lot of work into it. It's not something that is easy to just get good at. We've all been here for some time now. I think this is technically my third full year here, but I feel like we've worked on it a lot, and we do a lot of defensive breakdown, offensive breakdown, working on playing against our interns. And right now with our 2As not being able to play, we play against those guys and seeing different things that we can implement. So it all comes with work on it. And I think a big kudos to our front office for keeping our group together. So coming into the year, we knew who we were offensively. We didn't necessarily have to add a ton or work on a ton of things. It was more about just keep getting better at what we do so well. So I think there's many different things that play a part in it, but I do think the biggest part of it is just working on it consistently and trial and error. Offensively, we have games this year where we look awful, and you see so many different coverages in today's NBA that's the best part about it is you get to see so many different things, especially in our conference, right? You play Boston, sometimes they want to switch all the way down the line. You play Cleveland, they run too big, so they guard it more traditional most times. But when Allen's out and Mobley's at the 5, they switch everything down the line. Teams like Brooklyn, they switch everything down the line. Milwaukee, they play a more traditional with Brook at the 5, and he's more in a traditional drop. But when he comes out and Bobby and Giannis are at the 5, they switch everything. So there's so many different coverages that you see through the course of the season that I feel like that allows us to work on it. And fortunately, knock on wood, we've been relatively healthy to have a group to consistently play against different things and see different looks. So I think Cleveland, they guarded us where they guarded me full court deny. We've seen that. Memphis did it a couple different times throughout the course of the year. There's just many teams that have the Lakers, I think back to the in-season tournament last year, they did that to me at the same time. So I think we've just seen so many different coverages. I feel like we've seen a little bit of everything that we're just accustomed to it and know how to attack it the right way. And if we have a bad game 3, where we don't attack it the right way, sometimes it can feel like the world's falling apart and everybody wants to talk so negative. And the funny part about the playoffs is when you win, it feels like you'll never lose. And when you lose, it feels like you're never going to win again. So that's the funny part about it. But we study and we do a lot of different things, and I feel like that plays a part in it.